Welcome to today's episode, where we're going to take a deep dive into a topic that might turn everything you think about life and the spiritual journey on its head. If you've ever felt weighed down by the endless striving to become someone, to solve your problems, or to find answers, this conversation might be the release you didn't know you were waiting for. Let me begin with something simple but profound. You are destined for enlightenment. Let that sink in for a moment. There's no need to rush, no need to grasp, no need to force anything to happen. This destiny is already written into the very fabric of your being. But here's the key: you must cooperate with it, not by striving, but by surrendering, not by doing more, but by doing less, far less than you ever imagined. This isn't a surrender to some external force or a lofty idea of God. It's the kind of surrender that dissolves the very idea of a you doing the surrendering. It's the realization that there's nothing to do, no conditions to fulfill, no self to fix or improve. You don't need to push toward enlightenment. It unfolds on its own when you stop getting in the way. Let come what comes and let go what goes. Life is already flowing as it must. Your only task is to allow it. But let's make this practical. We've all experienced those moments of effort, trying to make things work, trying to achieve, trying to fix ourselves or others. And what happens? Often, the more we try, the more entangled we become. This is because effort arises from the illusion that I must act, that I am separate from the world I'm trying to change. But what if you could let go of that illusion entirely? What if you could see that even the idea of I is just another passing thought, no more substantial than a cloud drifting across the sky? This is where the contemplative practice of watching comes in. Not watching with judgment or analysis, but with a quiet, open curiosity. Watch your mind as it forms ideas and opinions. Watch how it creates stories about who you are and what you need. Watch your desires and fears arise like waves on the surface of the ocean. And then, here's the secret: don't identify with any of it. Just let it all pass, because none of it is you. Not your body, not your thoughts, not even the sense of being an observer. You might ask, if none of this is me, then what am I? The answer is not something the mind can grasp. It's not a concept or an idea. It's the stillness that remains when all else falls away. It's the light behind the watcher, the awareness in which all things appear. And here's the paradox: the more you stop trying to define or grasp this awareness, the more it reveals itself. Imagine this. A thought or emotion arises, maybe a flash of fear or a surge of desire. Instead of following it, instead of giving it your attention, you simply turn away. You don't suppress it, you don't fight it, you just let it be. And in doing so, you step beyond it. In that moment, you find yourself in your natural state, a state that isn't created or achieved, but is simply there, always present, waiting for you to notice it. This natural state is what some call the supreme or the infinite. It's not distant or difficult to reach. In fact, it's the easiest thing because it's what you already are. The challenge is not to reach it, but to stop looking for it anywhere other than here and now. It's like trying to find your own shadow. It's always with you, but the moment you chase it, it eludes you. Stop chasing, and it's right there. The great paradox of this journey is that the more you let go, the closer you come to what you've been seeking all along. This isn't a path of becoming, it's a path of unbecoming. It's the gradual peeling away of everything you're not: your body, your mind, your desires, your fears, until only the essence remains. And what is that essence? It's beyond words, but you could call it love, unity, or truth. It's the realization that there is no separation, that life is one indivisible whole. In this unity, all fear and desire dissolve. Why? Because fear comes from the illusion of separation. I must protect myself from that. And desire arises from the belief that something outside of you can complete you. When you see through these illusions, you discover that you lack nothing, that nothing can harm you, because you are not a fragment of life. You are not a fragment of life because you are life itself. Let's be clear. This isn't about retreating into isolation or performing some grand act of renunciation. It's not about lofty ideas of enlightenment wrapped in layers of mystical language that feel out of reach. We've been conditioned to believe that liberation is something extraordinary, reserved for saints and sages. But the truth is, it's utterly simple. It's about living with clarity and freedom, right here, in the midst of ordinary life. When you strip away the mystical metaphors, what remains is the pure recognition of what is. It's not a question of changing your actions, but seeing through the illusion that you are the one acting. This clarity doesn't make life passive or detached. It makes it vibrant and alive. Actions arise naturally, not burdened by the need to prove or protect an imagined self. Life flows through you with the ease of a river returning to its source, not because you force it, but because that's its natural course. When we let go of the stories we've layered over life, stories of control, achievement, and separation, what's left is simple, direct, and true. It's not mystical. It's reality, just as it is. And in that reality, there is freedom. And so I leave you with this. Stop striving. Stop grasping. Rest in the awareness that you are not the doer. Life is unfolding perfectly, just as it is. Watch your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences, but don't identify with them. Let them come and go, like waves rising and falling on the ocean. And in that watching, you will discover the stillness that you already are. You will discover that the supreme is not something to be attained, but something to be realized as your very being. This is the heart of the contemplative life. Not a life of effort, but a life of surrender, clarity, and love. Not a journey to somewhere else, but a homecoming to what has always been. You are that. You've always been that. And when you stop trying to become, you will simply be. And that, dear listener, is freedom.